Anything that you see that you have questions about that you'd be like, hey, I need to zone in on that, or I'm focused on that?
I mean, I don't know how important like standing like the distance to the ball. Sometimes I get in my head about that. I'm like acting like I got to be perfect. And then the other thing too is just where the ball should be in line with my.
Perfect. Let's start with put this down on the ground. A very simple little thing here, okay? But you can see where our feet kind of go here a little bit here, right? Okay, so we're going to kind of put our feet in that same position. That's good, okay? Now, getting a kind of a good understanding about ball position in this direction, okay? And then we're going to talk about distance away from the ball next, okay? So as you can see that we have a lot of balls right up here at the top, right, in different color coding, right? So for about a pitching wedge to an 8-iron, you see where this ball is? That's about where we want to play that, okay? So pretty much right in line with our sternum, okay? Or maybe just a little ahead, okay? But not behind it, okay? Now once I get to about a 7 to a 5-iron, right about here, about a ball up, as you can kind of see, and then so forth and so. But once we probably get to the driver, we're probably going to be about here with this blue or right about here, so we're right inside of our left heel.
Okay.
Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we will be utilizing as far as distance in this direction is from about center to about where our left heel is.
Okay.
Okay. So the ball will lie between these two areas right here,
Okay.
depending on what club we have.
Okay.
Okay. And that's going to be varied by the length of the club.
Okay.
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 Now let me talk about distance away from the ball. Let me grab the club here real quick and kind of give you a good understanding, right? So my distance away from the ball is going to be different than yours.
Okay.
Your arms, tall, all that stuff, right? So I can't just say, hey, it's going to be 5 feet or 6 feet or whatever, you know, a numerical number, right? So a great way to kind of do that is I kind of put a little fist right here and I stick my thumb out just a little bit where my belly button is. And then I just put it right about where the butt of the club is right there, okay? Typically what we find, okay, as a rule of thumb, okay, is that my hands are going to be underneath my chin. Okay. I'm going to have you get your feet into this position, get the club going just like that, okay? And what you're probably going to notice is that the ball seems maybe a little bit more up than what you're used to. Okay, but just kind of give that a visual right there. Feel like your arms are hanging off your shoulders very naturally.
Yeah.
You're not having any push or anything like that, which is good, okay? We want to, you know, like any other sport, right? We don't want to put a lot of tension in anything. We want to be able to move and be loose, right? Okay. You know, what you can kind of do for practice and stuff like this is you can kind of get one of those alignment rods, what we have right back over here. Okay. You can go to like Home Depot and buy one for a couple bucks or something, very cheap, right? And what I would do is I would just take like little tape, masking tape, put one in the center, then maybe take a ball, put another little piece of masking tape, and something like that. Doesn't have to be expensive, just something simple, visual aid for you. Okay. So that's what I would kind of do as far as ball position, so you start to get used to where that ball needs to be, okay? All right, first things first, let us talk about our grip. I want to kind of give you an idea about the grip, and then we'll kind of work around that, okay?
Okay.
All right, so what we're going to do, we'll do this together, okay? You can go ahead and grab your club, okay? We're going to take it, and we're going to feel it in the fingers, okay? Left hand. Then we're going to take our right hand as so. We're going to interlock it. Okay, we want to feel it right along our fingers here, okay? And as I tell my juniors, here's the piggy, here's the blanket. Wrap that piggy in a blanket, okay? So what you should notice, and I'm going to give you this grip minder in just a sec, but what we should start to feel, okay, is it more in the fingers, okay? We should feel this pad over top of our club here a little bit, and we should be able to hinge up and move our wrists very freely, okay? Right? If I get that in a bad position or if I get it more in the palms, then it starts to become very heavy.
Yeah.
Okay? So remember, we want to try to feel it more in the fingers, that left pad over top, okay? That way we can control the club face as much as possible.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this grip minder, okay? Okay? So go ahead and put that, you'll feel the mold for your fingers. Perfect. And then that, stuff like that. So, but what we want to kind of do, right, is we want to work on our grip probably for about 15 to 20 minutes a night, you know, depending on if we're watching a TV program or a movie or something like that. But something that we start to get a feel for where our hands need to be. Okay. Now, let me ask you, is that feel normal to what you usually do or a little bit different?
I think a little bit different. I think I would I don't want to say I fully baseballed it because I kind of just like rested my finger up here.
Okay.
But I definitely felt like I'm squeezing it pretty hard
Okay.
for some reason.
Okay.
But I think the biggest thing is this hand felt like maybe more so it was kind of just resting and versus it feels a little bit different to.
Like you got a little bit more grip on it now?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. I want to kind of go from
So-
here, that knuckle to this knuckle. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay, good. Yeah, that's good. Then we'll bring this guy on in. Good. Now that thumb may be, this thumb, here, let me take this guy. This thumb's probably going to be just a little bit on the left-hand side a little bit.
Okay.
Or the right-hand side, I'm sorry. Okay. And there you go. Good. Good. Okay. Let's talk about posture. Okay. Let's kind of do this together. So we're going to stand right here next to each other. Okay. We're going to put the club out in front of us like we did. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take your right hand, I want you to put it right where your belt buckle would be. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to push our hips back just a little bit till we feel a little tension. We want our feet together. There you go. Okay. Now we feel a little tension in our hamstrings. We want to crack our knees. Okay. We're going to take equal steps. Okay. Now we just want to let the club come and rest down. Okay. Good. Good position. Okay. So a few things that we'll start to see is now your hip is stacked over your ankle joint, which is really good. Your arms are hanging off your shoulders naturally, what we want. Okay. And the only thing I need to kind of do here just a little bit is I'm going to come on in here on you and turn that. And now we've got kind of some closed shoulders. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So when you say open before, I was kind of doing this.
Yeah, so if I look down the target line, right, you were like this,
I see.
right? And your path, your swing path was going this way,
Right.
okay? And you had a closed club face, so it kept going left,
Versus
right?
forward.
Right, so it's just going to be maybe straight on or maybe just a little closed here a little bit, okay? And that's going to help us get to the inside part of the ball, right? But once I start to kind of do this, then my swing path starts to get over the top.
Right.
Does that make sense? Okay. Here, I said we were going to talk about that. So go ahead through your setup here just a little bit. Okay, good. All right, arms hanging off our shoulders naturally. Good. All right, so I'm going to move this guy on in here just a little bit, okay? Now what I want you to kind of do, and this is the way that we want to kind of practice just a little bit, is I want you to feel like you're sliding this shaft along this rail here. All right, so we're going to be kind of like this as we kind of go. Okay, so that's the beginnings of our takeaway. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so at least that's the first 3 feet that we're kind of focusing on just a little bit, right? That's going to keep our hands and everything on plane, okay? But for you, right, you could kind of see in the video that we were kind of getting back in here,
Yeah.
right? So we want to feel like that club, right, if there's a big circle out here, we want to try to keep our hands in this circle as we come through.
Okay.
Does that make sense? All right. Okay. Yep. Straighten up this arm. There you go. Just a little bit. There you go. Okay. So you can see here, right, when we look at Justin Thomas, see how his left arm stays straight? Okay. For you, okay, once you get your arms past this point, you start to break down this left elbow. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So it's okay if it's just a little bent or a little soft, but if it starts to break down like this,
Yeah.
then you start to move your circle. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's good. Here. Yeah. Down. And then through.
Okay.
Good. Let your right foot come through for me, partner. There you go. Okay. Let's do it one more time for you. Okay. Up. Back down and through.
Okay.
Good job. Well, the big issue that we're kind of having here is your hands are running away from your body.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I got you here, okay, so go ahead and take the club back. You're doing good. Then I want to feel like chop.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. For you right now, you're just kind of
Yeah, I'm just-
wait, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that you're bending your elbow is because we haven't bent our wrist, right? Our wrist stays straight, and then you're like, I'll bend this
Yeah.
to get that angle. You know you need to.